Welcome back to Brands Hatch, our third and final Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup race about to get underway, and we'll do the draw for the third and final race, and it will be the top 7 positions that get reversed. That's the number that was drawn by Chris Ward, our race 2 winner, and therefore it will be Rick Kerry in the 1 Series BMW that lines upon pole position. Alongside him, number 4, Tom Carnaby. In row 2, they're going to be Mick Wiedner in the fast starting Focus ST, alongside Dan Malone. We ride on board with championship leader Adrian Churchill as the lights go out, and again it's a very good start from the Focus ST ahead of us. However, he's going to try and squeeze his way through to the lead of the race. He's made it through. So Mick Wiedner leads the race. Rick Kerry from pole position is going to sit there in second place as they come through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time, and then we'll climb up Halewood Hill in towards the braking area for Druids Corner. Mick Wiedner leads. There is Rick Kerry going side by side with Adrian Churchill for second and third position, and Chris Ward sitting there in 4th place as we ride on board with Churchill once more. He's through and ahead of Rick Kerry up to second position as they turn their way through the right-hander. Churchill also now trying to grasp the lead of the race away from the man from Maidenhead. Through he goes ahead of the Ford Focus ST, so it hasn't taken long at all for championship leader Adrian Churchill to hit the front. Keep your eye also on Chris Ward. Of course, he's won 2 races so far this weekend. He sits there in 3rd position currently. And Rick Kerry, who started on the pole position, is going to be down to 4th by the completion of the first lap. One good thing about the Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup is the variety, and in particular that reverse grid for the third and final race as Chris Ward tries to take second place away. Look at the quartet of cars further back as well fighting away. The 2 Astras, the Seat Leon, the BMW 1 Series, and I think the Nissan joining in as well. It's almost a quintet now. Very close racing indeed as Chris Ward is trying to go around the outside of the Ford Focus and take second place away. The outside line round Druids will give him the inside line for Graham Hill Bend, and it looks as though the chief instructor from Silverstone is indeed going to make it through. We've seen a good chunk of him racing in sports cars, in V2V and in British GT as well over recent years, and certainly Chris Ward is bringing that RJN prepared Nissan through the field as Mick Wiedner loses a further place as well. Another position lost to Tom Carnaby. The Tesco Momentum 99 racing prepared Vauxhall Astra VXR also manages to squeeze its way through. We ride on board with Kevin George as he makes his way out of Clark Curve. He's still in the lead of Class B at the moment, but still some fabulous battles right the way through the pack. Mick Wiedner having a very busy race indeed. He's lost another position. Through goes the orange Seat Leon. That's Dan Malone. He has made his way through. It looks as though the next of the cars queuing up to try and gain a position is Ryan Bensley in the blue Astra VXR. He's having a quick look at the inside on the approach to Druids Corner. Trying around the outside is the second of the 2 Nissan 370Zs in the field. That's Craig Curry. We'll also see Craig Curry out in the Radical UK Cup as well a bit later on this weekend. As down the Cooper Straight they go. Mick Wiedner having to watch his mirrors all of the time. There's been no let-up in the pressure as everybody has tried to file their way past what was once more a very fast starting Ford Focus ST. However, for the moment, he's keeping at bay the advances of Ryan Bensley, then car number 23, Craig Curry, who had electrical problems in that second race. That was what cost him a retirement in that second race. And now Ryan Bensley trying to draw his way along the left-hand side of the circuit. The outside of Paddock Hill Bend beckons for the Astra VXR. He'll try and cut back on the exit, will he? One by one order as they head through the apex of the corner. They fan out again into 2 by 2 order as they approach the braking area for Druids. And it looks as though from Bensley wanted to gain a position. He's actually lost one. Through has gone. The Nissan in the hands of Craig Curry. Ride on board once more with Adrian Churchill in the lead of the race. Courtney Sport car going very well this weekend. He's claimed 10 overall victories so far this season and tops the championship tables coming into this weekend on 169 points. But at the moment he'll be watching his mirrors because the fast advancing Chris Ward in the second of the 2 Nissans will be closing in on him. There's Craig Curry further down through the field. And we're side by side as well. This is for the 5th and 6th position as well, as once more the Astra of Tom Carnaby and the Seat of Dan Malone get very, very close to each other. They were bouncing off each other as well in one of the earlier races. They're remarkably close once more in this one. Up the hill towards Druids they come. Tom Carnaby, the former Ginetta racer. We've also seen him out in Renault Clios, enjoying his first weekend of racing. And here's the Class B battle once more with Andre Maggi heading into the gravel trap again. It's been a torrid weekend for the Russian driver who now resides in Staffordshire. He went into the barriers in race 2. He's into the gravel trap in race 3. And that really won't help his championship assault. And he'll leave Brands Hatch with very few points indeed. Through Paddock Hill Bend comes the lead battle once more. Adrian Churchill having to watch his mirrors. The car of Chris Ward very close indeed. He's worked very hard as Chris Ward to try and close that deficit that existed. There's another battle further down through the field as well. That's for 7th and 8th position. Mick Wiedner and Rick Kerry, the Ford Focus, who has continually had to watch his mirrors throughout this race, now can see the BMW 1 Series, the West Suffolk racing prepared machine, in the hands of the former Kumo BMW champion Rick Kerry sitting behind him. As Adrian Churchill now is having to soak up the pressure for the lead of the race. Chris Ward has caught the Vauxhall Astra. They charge their way out of Clearways onto Clark Curve. The Courtney Sport car still leading, but he's coming under an ever-increasing amount of pressure from the RJN Motorsport prepared Nissan 370Z of Chris Ward. Up towards Paddock Hill Bend, Chris Ward dives up the inside as they approach the right-hander, and he's through and has taken the lead of the race. A very fine overtaking manoeuvre, left his braking as late as he possibly could. Adrian Churchill is no slouch. He'll equally as much know that Chris Ward isn't registered for those championship points, and therefore, despite the fact he'd like to win the race overall, it's not too much of a problem to his championship title aspirations if he allows the Nissan through. Down through Graham Hill Bend, along the Cooper Straight once more, before they will then turn their way through Surtees, McLaren, and on towards Clearways and Clark Curve. That will complete the lap at Brands Hatch. We ride on board with Adrian Churchill. Let's have a look at the replay of Chris Ward. Dives up the inside on the brakes. Adrian Churchill sensibly gives him enough room, the highly experienced racer Adrian Churchill, and sits there in 2nd place. It's that fight that's still going on for 7th and 8th position, the Ford Focus ST, with Mick Wiedner very much under pressure from Rick Kerry. Rick Kerry's got the nose of the BMW up the inside and takes the place away. It's his first weekend's racing in the best part of 3 years, Rick Kerry, and has been going very well this weekend. 3 solid performances, 3 solid finishes it looks like it's going to be for him as they head over the start-finish line. However, Wiedner re-attacks once more as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend. They might be fighting for positions outside of the top 6, but they're thoroughly enjoying themselves as they make their way up towards Druids Corner. The BMW on the inside line, the Ford Focus ST, the Moorside Motorsport prepared machine on the outside line. And at the moment, it's the 2 times former Kumo BMW champion that heads the former MG Owners Club champion. There's car number 31, the Matt James Racing prepared Keith Isaac driven BMW 1 Series diesel. And here's a fight as well through the order. This is for 4th and 5th position. Dan Malone fending off the attentions of Ryan Bensley. Ryan Bensley, who was going so well earlier on this weekend, will be very keen indeed to try and get himself up on the podium in this race if he can. And for the moment, he's lying towards the bottom of the top 6, looking to try and gain further positions as he dives up the inside of Dan Malone and squeezes his way through. Very late on the brakes there was Ryan Bensley, gains the position. He'll now try and hunt down the Astra VXR of Tom Carnaby that sits directly ahead of him. So Bensley up to 5th place. Here's race leader once more. It's been a very good weekend for Chris Ward. 2 race victories so far as he heads out of Clearways and on towards Clark Curve, still being chased by Adrian Churchill. But now you can see from Adrian Churchill's perspective, what was a car fairly close to him a few moments ago is now almost just a dot in the distance, such is the pace of Chris Ward. Fight for 4th, 5th and 6th position continues as well, with Tom Carnaby now coming under an increasing amount of pressure from Ryan Bensley. Now he's got himself ahead of the Seat Leon of Dan Malone. He's very much closing in, the 26-year-old from Kings Lynn. Through the right-hander goes Ryan Bensley, trying to hunt down the former Ginetta Junior racer, who's very good on the brakes at Druids. We saw that last time through when he gained the position ahead of the Seat Leon there. But for the moment, Bensley isn't quite able to squeeze his way through. But it's been a fairly dominant performance so far this weekend from Chris Ward. We're heading into the latter stages of the race. Chris Ward about to get into some of the back marker lappery as well, by the look of things, that being the Renault Megane of Jordan Witt. As we've still got this fight that continues for the final 3 places inside the top 6. Tom Carnaby, Ryan Bensley and Dan Malone in the Seat Leon. Well, Malone seems to have just dropped away from these 2 Vauxhall Astras. Over the start-finish line, the 2 of them come. The Tesco Momentum car in the hands of Tom Carnaby. The blue car in the hands of Ryan Bensley. As they feed their way once more through Paddock Hill Bend. You really don't get the perspective as to how big the dip is as the cars come out of Paddock Hill Bend. Bensley up the inside, heading up towards Drury's Corner, squeezes his way through. 2 wheels on the curb as well. Good driving that from both of the youngsters there. But it is the 2008 750 Motor Club Stock Catch champion, Ryan Bensley, that's gone through. He finished runner-up as well in that series last year. Tom Carnaby losing a position. Our race leader about to go onto his final lap of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit here, Chris Ward. A weekend of guest drives in the RJN Motorsport Prepared Nissan has been very successful indeed for